to be qualified to open a sermon. During one of his teachings, a disciple asked him, "What is glory?" This was his response: "Glory is a force, a chaotic will, and this will has only one thought: to never allow oneself to retreat, to never allow the enemy to take even a single step forward. Even if it means death, it must be a death that is resounding and spectacular." However, not all cultivators like us can fall into this madness. In the end, we are all afraid of death, especially after most of our fellow Taoists have perished, especially when only a few thousand remain out of tens of thousands. Who is not afraid of death? At this time, glory becomes but an illusion. In the face of death, few can still feel glorious. But what happened back then was changed by a single person, by a single sentence from him. He made us understand what true glory really is. That sentence, to this day, I still remember it. I can't forget it. Every time I think of it, I return to those days, to that time when our blood was boiling. Wong Lin's eyes were bloodshot. As he kept retreating, he witnessed scene after scene of the Cloud Sea cultivators' crazed actions, saw the faces of those who left behind memories, and felt an indescribable aura. Kill! 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 Wong Lin suddenly turned and charged into the Outer Realm army. His left hand raised, flames surged, heading straight ahead. All the Outer Realm cultivators blocking his path were instantly obliterated. With a flick of his right hand, thunder spread, the deafening roar echoing. Endless lightning howled, sealing the heavens and earth, devouring the Outer Realm cultivators. Surrounded by Outer Realm cultivators, Wong Lin had already separated from the Cloud Sea cultivators' army. He charged directly into the heart of the enemy forces. With each wave of his hand, terrifying screams filled the air. Wong Lin was in a blood-red frenzy, unaware of how many he had killed. All he knew was that every cultivator around him was an enemy. The bloodlight flashed, and the blood sword circled around Wong Lin, claiming the lives of the Outer Realm cultivators one by one. At that moment, 3 ghostly glows shot out from the Outer Realm army, heading straight for Wong Lin. As they neared, they revealed themselves as 3 cultivators in purple robes. The 3 purple-robed cultivators floated in the shape of the Chinese character for person, each forming a seal with their hands. Low chants rapidly emerged from their mouths. With the descendants of the Seal Annihilation clan, we offer vitality and summon our clan's divine power to seal this one's entire spiritual energy. Seal. With the descendants of the Seal Annihilation clan, we offer vitality and summon our clan's divine power to seal this one's entire life force. Seal. With the descendants of the Seal Annihilation clan, we offer vitality and summon our clan's divine power to seal this one's physical strength. Seal. At the moment their voices resonated together, 3 Seal Annihilation clan seals suddenly flashed from the cultivators' brows hidden beneath their robes, releasing an immense pressure that rushed toward Wong Lin. Amidst the killing frenzy, Wong Lin suddenly raised his head. His blood-red eyes gleamed with madness. This brief moment of slaughter had already drained a significant portion of his energy. This wasn't a battle against one person. This was a fight between a single individual and tens of thousands. Here, no technique mattered. The goal was to kill as many invaders as possible. All divine abilities in this battlefield had become incredibly simple. The only focus was to kill, kill, kill. The 3 Seal Annihilation clan seals screamed as they approached. As Wong Lin looked up, they directly struck his body. There was no resisting the Seal Annihilation clan's seal. Had Wong Lin been able to prevent the seals from landing, the Seal Annihilation clan would never have become one of the ancient Marvel clans. With a low growl, Wong Lin raised his right hand and launched a powerful punch forward. The punch whipped up a violent wind, forming a giant shadow that collided with the 3 seals. Both passed through each other without damage. At the moment the seals landed on him, Wong Lin's illusory fist also struck the 3 purple-robed cultivators. The first seal arrived with a deafening boom and landed on Wong Lin's forehead. His body suddenly shook, and the seal rushed into his body, sealing all of his spiritual energy instantly. The second seal rapidly approached, and as it landed on his forehead, Wong Lin's appearance swiftly aged, almost instantly becoming an old man. The third seal dropped simultaneously, causing Wong Lin to tremble. The 7 stars' ancient god power rapidly drained from his body, forcibly sealed within his brow. On Wong Lin's forehead, the 3 seals transformed into ghostly lights, flashing rapidly and sprouting countless fine branches that spread across his entire body. At this moment, it appeared as though Wong Lin's body was covered in a net of ghostly light. Within this net, his spiritual energy, life force, and physical strength were completely sealed. But to seal Wong Lin, a price had to be paid, his life. The 3 purple-robed elders, having just sealed Wong Lin, were immediately struck by Wong Lin's retaliatory punch before they could react. A fierce gust of wind swept through, and the robes of the 3 elderly men in purple, which had been covering their heads, were suddenly blown away, revealing their 3 aged faces beneath. Despite the blow, the 3 remained unfazed, their expressions calm, with not the slightest trace of fear in their eyes. As the fist approached, they closed their eyes. From a young age, they had been adopted by the Council of Elders, with the sole purpose of sealing away powerful beings. Their lives held no value other than to seal an entity of immense power with their very lives. The sound of thunderous explosions echoed as Wong Lin's illusory fist passed through the bodies of the 3, shattering their purple robes. Their physical forms disintegrated, and their souls perished immediately. Though they had died, the sealing power remained undiminished. From afar, the Grand Diviner Yun Luo, who had been observing the scene, raised her right hand and pointed at Wong Lin. A sealing command was sent out, causing the surrounding Outer Realm cultivators to charge toward Wong Lin with vicious and grotesque expressions. He's been sealed. Kill him, and we'll make it onto the ancient star ranking. This man is useless now, kill him. He's slain many of our comrades. His cultivation is profound, a 3rd step great power. Today, we will slay him and shake the entire inner realm with our might. Wong Lin had lost all his strength, and his body no longer had any power to float in the starry sky. He plummeted downward. Within moments, tens of thousands of cultivators arrived, bringing with them a murderous aura and brutality. Rays of light from magical treasures surged through the air, all heading straight for Wong Lin. With a thunderous crash, countless flying swords and magical treasures struck Wong Lin's body. Though his cultivation had waned, his physical form still held immense strength. The brutal impact made him cough up blood. Sealing Fate Clan. Wong Lin growled lowly as the sealed power inside him, the ancient god's strength, his life force, and everything else inside him raged against the sealing Annihilation clan's seal, striving to break free. The explosions continued, and thousands of flying swords descended upon Wong Lin. Boom after boom, his body was covered in blood, and he spat out more. But his eyes burned with cold light. Amidst the barrage of magical treasures, the tens of thousands of cultivators approached, unleashing all manner of divine powers. One Outer Realm elder, closing in, raised his right hand and roared with rage. Die! His right hand descended toward Wong Lin's head. However, as the palm fell, the elder screamed in agony and quickly pulled his hand back. His entire right arm had twisted painfully. The force of Wong Lin's powerful body had caused the elder to fracture his own arm's bones with his own strike. At that moment, more Outer Realm cultivators arrived. Their divine abilities surged, and over 10 of them simultaneously slapped their hands down upon Wong Lin's body. The blast shook the air as Wong Lin spewed more blood. Behind these 10 were hundreds, then thousands, then tens of thousands of cultivators, each unleashing their most powerful spells in a frenzied assault. Despite the relentless onslaught and the worsening injuries to Wong Lin's physical form, his eyes grew colder. Not enough, not nearly enough. Is this all the strength you have? Wong Lin's voice was soft, but the cultivators here, not being ordinary, could still hear him clearly. Arrogant beyond measure, kill. Everyone, attack together. I don't believe we can't kill him. What kind of physical body is this? It's terrifying. This scene shocked not only the Outer Realm cultivators, but also all the Cloud Sea cultivators. As they watched, their hearts shook, and Wong Lin's identity suddenly flashed through their minds. In an instant, the Cloud Sea cultivators went wild, charging forward in an attempt to protect Wong Lin. In the face of the Outer Realm cultivators' brutal attack, Wong Lin's physical strength, which had moved them, only fueled their killing intent further. Now, each of them was unleashing their most potent divine abilities, forming a catastrophic storm that shook the entire starry sky. The storm raged, heading straight for Wong Lin. At this moment, Grand Diviner Yun Luo, who had been watching all along, suddenly changed her expression. Her right hand, which had been weaving a spell, tore open with multiple cracks, blood dripping from her palm. Not good. This man must not be killed in this way. She immediately sought to issue a sealing command, but it was too late. As the storm of the strongest divine abilities from the tens of thousands of cultivators closed in on Wong Lin, he glared coldly with blazing eyes, gritting his teeth, and allowed the storm to come. Booms shook the world, and in the heart of the storm, Wong Lin's blood sprayed across the battlefield. His eyes dimmed as his injuries worsened, but with a sudden surge of will, he lifted his head and his eyes blazed with the fires of war. The storm howled, battering Wong Lin, but he used this external force to shatter the first seal. When the seal of primordial energy broke, Wong Lin's eyes shot open. His body took a step forward, his right hand raised as ethereal flames spread, and screams echoed around him. The second seal collapsed, and Wong Lin's aging face reversed, returning to his youthful appearance. His injuries healed rapidly. The third seal shattered with a thunderous boom, and the power of the ancient gods surged from his brow, flooding his entire body. Have you all had enough? Wong Lin's voice boomed from within the storm. Even the battle between Luo Tian and the Alliance back then never reached the intensity that had been achieved in this brief period of time. But now, with Wong Lin's words, the entire battlefield, at least the area around Wong Lin, fell into an immediate silence. The terrifying power of Wong Lin's physical body brought an unimaginable shock to the tens of thousands of cultivators who had just attacked. Fear appeared in their eyes. They were terrified. They couldn't understand what kind of cultivator Wong Lin was, to possess such a frightening body. The strength of his body was beyond belief. After enduring their frenzied attacks for such a short time, he hadn't died. Especially the elder whose arm had been severed, his eyes filled with endless fear. Without hesitation, he began to retreat, and as he did, it caused the tens of thousands of cultivators around him to follow suit and retreat frantically. Their retreat was met with the cheers and morale-boosting cries of the Cloud Sea cultivators. This scene was like a powerful stimulant, striking directly at the hearts and minds of the Cloud Sea cultivators. Glory of the Cloud Sea! Glory of the Seal Lord! Glory of the Cloud Sea! Glory of the Seal Lord! The cheers were deafening, and at that moment, every Cloud Sea cultivator gazed at Wong Lin, who walked out from the storm, before they resumed their killing frenzy. Wong Lin emerged from the storm, his eyes filled with murderous intent. He raised his right hand and swung it forward with immense force. Thunderous roars followed, and the storm shattered, rapidly collapsing into a shockwave that spread out in all directions. At that instant, Wong Lin charged forward, his ethereal flames engulfing the area as thunder roared, heading straight toward the cultivators in all directions. Screams rang out, and the battle continued. In the midst of the ongoing slaughter, Wong Lin was already exhausted. His injuries were far more severe than they appeared. The previous attack of 10,000 divine powers had left him severely wounded, and even the recovery speed of the Seven Stars ancient god seemed unable to keep up with the intensity of this battle. His recovery was clearly slowing down. He had become bloodthirsty, knowing full well that this battle was far from over, and he could not retreat. Encouraged by Wong Lin's emergence, the Cloud Sea cultivators, though suffering heavy casualties, launched a furious counterattack. They were deeply familiar with the formations passed down by Red Fur Master, which had been ingrained in their minds during their preparations. At this moment, the remaining 30,000 cultivators gathered to form their formations. However, every time they attempted to set up their formation, it seemed as if the Outer Realm cultivators knew their movements in advance, rushing forward to interrupt them. Once could be a coincidence, twice could still be a coincidence, but after 3, 4, 5, or even 6 times, it was no longer a coincidence. The Cloud Sea cultivators' formations could never be completed, no matter how many casualties they suffered. They could not succeed. The fierce gazes of the Outer Realm cultivators, Though some were filled with fear due to Wong Lin's presence, many others were filled with a murderous aura. From beyond the boundary-sealing grand array, they continuously rushed in, as if there was no limit to their numbers. All of this was because of one person, Grand Diviner Xun'er. Deep within the outer realm cultivators, protected by numerous cultivators, Grand Diviner Xun'er raised her jade hand, making intricate gestures. Her eyes revealed a calculating expression as she pointed into the distance. With each motion of her hand, the sealing fate commands were sent out, controlling the entire army. They divided into 4 directions, charging toward the Cloud Sea cultivators within the boundary. Under her control, the Outer Realm army seemed to have a soul, brimming with ethereal power. Xun'er's calculations continued without pause, as though she could foresee every move in advance. This caused the Cloud Sea cultivators to be unable to successfully set up a single formation to fight back. Every time a formation was about to be set, a wave of Outer Realm cultivators would surge in response to her finger, blocking all attempts to form a strategy. Wong Lin's gaze flickered like lightning as he directly looked toward the distance, where Xun'er, protected by many cultivators, stood. His eyes flashed with killing intent. Red Fur Master, who was battling 5 powerful enemies, also focused on Xun'er. Having reached the mid-profound void stage, Red Fur Master was only half a step away from the late stage. He had the upper hand in his battle against the 5 powerhouses, though his movements were still limited. It could be said that Red Fur Master played a crucial role in this fight. By himself, he had held off all the powerful enemies except for the Hall Master of the Hall of Heavenly Punishment, who was trapped by the Seal Lord Jade Pendant. This allowed Wong Lin to focus on stopping Southern Cloud Master from repairing the sealing formation. With his eyes fixed on Xun'er, Red Fur Master's eyes flashed with killing intent. He flicked his sleeve, and his body was instantly enveloped in red clouds, sweeping the 5 Outer Realm powerhouses along as he charged toward Xun'er. If this woman isn't killed, this battle will never end. Red Fur Master roared as he moved, dragging the 5 powerhouses along with him, rapidly advancing through the starry sky, appearing beside the boundary-sealing grand array, aiming directly for Xun'er. The surrounding cultivators by Xun'er's side changed their expressions dramatically, but only Xun'er remained calm, a hint of mockery flashing in her eyes. Xun'er was proud and aloof, and when she looked at the cultivators within and outside the realm, only 3 people caught her attention. Not even Red Fur Master could enter her sight. What she was waiting for was the arrival of Red Fur Master, or perhaps Southern Cloud Master. The moment Red Fur Master drew near, the sealed realm grand array suddenly shook violently. Freezing air surged out rapidly, spreading uncontrollably toward the inner realm. In the midst of this chill, the 9 cultivation stars within the ancient starry sky trembled suddenly, and the boy within revealed a smile. He took a step forward. It wasn't the boy's body that moved, but the massive layer of ice. The ice trembled violently, disappearing without a trace. In that instant, it appeared outside the sealed realm grand array, heading straight for the breach. Just as Red Fur Master was about to strike down Xun'er, the icy air surged from the breach in the sealed realm grand array. The entire array shook, and the massive ice layer directly shattered the array, tearing a huge gap as it entered the inner realm. As soon as it entered, the ice shattered into countless fragments, forming an indescribable ice storm, heading straight for the 30,000 Cloud Sea cultivators. At the same time, in the shattered ice, the boy's eyes grew ferocious. He took a step forward, moving toward Red Fur Master. Bloodrobe boy, back then we were both mere boys. We fought many times, but it was never enough. Today, we meet again, and we shall fight once more. Come out in your true form. This mere clone is not enough to satisfy me. The voice of the cold ice boy was indifferent, and as his words echoed, he was already closing in on Red Fur Master. Red Fur Master's expression was solemn, but he didn't speak. Instead, he took a step back and directly entered the icy storm that was sweeping toward the Cloud Sea cultivators. With a flick of his sleeves, he immediately scattered the storm. However, at the moment the storm was dispersed, Red Fur Master's expression suddenly changed dramatically. Inside the storm, a red shadow appeared, twisting and weaving. Before it even fully emerged, it was already less than 10 yards from Red Fur Master. Moving with an unimaginable speed, it struck directly at him. In a flash, the red shadow withdrew and transformed into a red-clad woman, who was unmistakably one of the immortal consorts, known for turning 3 drops of her vital blood essence into 3 ghostly shadows. Red Fur Master's face went pale, stepping back several paces. On his chest, a bloodstain appeared, resembling a twisted, snarling demon head, which kept spreading with a vicious force. You are as despicable as ever, unchanged in the least. Red Fur Master glared at the cold ice boy and the red-clad woman. The ice storm that Red Fur Master had dispelled did not completely disintegrate with the appearance of the red-clad woman. The remaining power quickly swept over the Cloud Sea cultivators, a series of chilling cracks and explosions erupting. The Cloud Sea cultivators immediately felt the cold frost invade their bodies, freezing them into ice sculptures in an instant, before violently shattering. In the blink of an eye, nearly 10,000 cultivators had perished. The death of these cultivators sent waves of fear through the remaining Cloud Sea cultivators. Faced with such sudden and inevitable death, their honor trembled, their resolve shook. And with the words of the red-clad woman, their pride seemed to crumble like a collapsing sky. Yin Luo calculated everything long ago. This battle was set to kill you and Southern Cloud Master. The Cold Row boy figured out that you would try to stop the ice storm to save these insignificant Cloud Sea ants. Yin Luo predicted that you, in such a hurried situation, wouldn't see clearly. So I hid within and prepared to deliver a fatal blow. Those words filled the remaining Cloud Sea cultivators with despair. Everything they had, all their honor, had been calculated. Even Red Fur Master had been manipulated. What did they have left to uphold their pride? When their honor collapsed, Grand Diviner Yin Luo's eyes flashed with mockery. She raised her delicate finger, and with a single gesture, the Sealing Fate clan launched their final strike. A horde of cultivators, their sinister laughter echoing, charged forward, heading straight for the now dishonored Cloud Sea cultivators to slaughter them. Death, a gruesome massacre. Amidst the laughter, the red-clad woman stepped forward, ignoring Red Fur Master as she sped straight towards Southern Cloud Master, who had been quietly repairing the sealed realm Grand Array, her expression dark. With incredible speed, she was already nearly upon him, forcing Southern Cloud Master to sigh and abandon his repairs. He turned, standing alongside the agile Zhou Jin, to face this immortal consort. The Cold Row boy remained cold and unmoved, not giving Red Fur Master any chance to heal. He surged toward Red Fur Master like an ancient and unyielding block of ice, charging with the 5 great powers to confront him. This turn of events sent shockwaves through the starry sky. In the Cloud Sea, it seemed there were no more reinforcements. The battle would be lost. From the ancient starry sky in the outer realm, the third wave of armies, composed of over 10 tribes and 60,000 cultivators, assembled and marched directly toward the sealed realm Grand Array. Wong Lin gazed at everything in silence, stepping back until he stood before the Cloud Sea cultivators. A surge of battle intent surged in his eyes. Amid the despair of these cultivators, he let out a roar that shook the heavens and the earth. As cultivators of our kind, what is there to fear in battle? Only death awaits. The Cloud Sea cultivators, under the relentless assault of the Outer Realm invaders, were reduced to less than 10,000, and the remaining cultivators continued to die. The retreat began. One person retreats, and everyone retreats. The retreat was like the ebbing tide, crashing apart with a thunderous sound. Every Cloud Sea cultivator showed signs of despair, gazing at the countless Outer Realm invaders that outnumbered them by several times. They no longer had the courage to continue fighting. Once the retreat began, defeat was inevitable. The Outer Realm's ferocity grew, and the shrill laughter and roars echoed across the battlefield, reverberating in every Cloud Sea cultivator's ears. But still they retreated. Few are unafraid of death, and they were terrified. The Cloud Sea is finished. Better to keep my life than to die here. The war is not over. Although we have lost, if I move to another star domain, there will be another chance to fight. These thoughts flooded the minds of every Cloud Sea cultivator, finding various excuses for their retreat, speeding it up even further. But Red Fur Master did not retreat. He fought to the death with 6 other powerful cultivators. He knew he could never retreat. While other cultivators feared death, he was powerless to stop them. But he was a mighty being from the inner realm. If he retreated, this battle would truly be a complete defeat. The failure of the first battle, for those in the inner realm who were unprepared, would be a heavy blow, leaving the inner realm with no strength to continue fighting. Southern Cloud Master did not retreat either. Though a man of few words, he valued his promises. Long ago, the Sealing Venerable had shown him great kindness, and he wanted to repay him. The inner realm was his home, and he had to protect it. As a peak powerhouse in the inner realm, he had no reason to retreat. In silence, a killing intent burned in his eyes. Amid the retreat of the nearly 10,000 Cloud Sea cultivators, the outer realm cultivators charged in like wolves among sheep. In the chaos, the Cloud Sea cultivators, with no glory left, died by the thousands in their terrible screams. And there was one who did not retreat. That person was Wong Lin. He no longer spoke, but instead looked up with a determined expression. With firm steps, he charged toward the outer realm army that was chasing the retreating Cloud Sea cultivators. With each step, a rumbling sound echoed. Wong Lin arrived in an instant. With a wave of his right hand, thunder rumbled, and the vast starry sky was immediately filled with a massive thunder diagram. As soon as the diagram appeared, Wong Lin's right hand raised and tore violently at the sky. Open, primordial thunder realm. The starry sky rumbled. Within the thunder diagram, a massive crack was torn open, and waves of ancient energy burst forth, accompanied by the roar of primordial thunder dragons. Several thunderous dragons emerged from the crack, merging into the thunder diagram. With their mouths open, endless lightning cascaded down with deafening booms. Each bolt of lightning was 10 feet wide, and after Wong Lin released all his thunder origin, it came crashing down in a frenzy. A fiery storm appeared out of thin air, forming a massive vortex. Inside it, the vermilion bird danced, charging toward the surrounding outer realm cultivators with a series of long, high-pitched cries. The booming sound shook the heavens, and the immense noise reverberated through the starry sky. One man's power stood against the pursuing outer realm army, halting them in their tracks. This scene, seen from afar, was enough to shake the hearts of all cultivators. The starry sky seemed to split. On one side, thousands of retreating Cloud Sea cultivators, filled with despair. On the other side, tens of thousands of outer realm soldiers. In the middle stood Wong Lin. The starry sky between them was filled with the massive thunder diagram. Around Wong Lin, a 9-colored firestorm swirled. Wong Lin stood with his back to the retreating Cloud Sea cultivators, gazing ahead at the endless sea of heads. His expression was calm as he coldly stared at them. With his presence alone, the outer realm army dared not take a single step forward. After a brief silence, the outer realm army erupted in a series of thunderous roars and charged. Wong Lin did not speak. He raised his right hand, and the blood sword materialized. He gripped it tightly, then raised his right arm and stepped forward. Thunder rumbled as his body moved, and the firestorm spiraled around him. As the outer realm cultivators closed in, over 1,000 were forced to retreat, their bodies aflame with ethereal fire. Nearly 1,000 more were struck by the thunder, their bodies shattering into pieces. But the outer realm forces were simply too numerous, and among them were powerful beings who had reached great levels of cultivation. Wong Lin was not yet at the third step. Even if he were, against this vast army of over 100,000, it was impossible to withstand. A storm of divine abilities from the outer realm cultivators came charging toward Wong Lin. This was a battle to the death. Wong Lin let out a low roar, and instead of retreating, he pressed forward, fighting fiercely. Blood spilled from his mouth, staining his white robes. His eyes were already filled with blood, and his face showed deep exhaustion. His primordial energy had begun to deplete, and his ancient god power could no longer keep up. His body was riddled with injuries, each one worse than the last. Wounds covered his entire body. Yet, the number of outer realm cultivators who had died at his hands was incalculable. Wong Lin didn't bother counting. All he knew at this moment was that he couldn't find a reason to leave in peace. The orders from the Sealing Venerable the friends and loved ones in the inner realm, the hometown that gave him life. All of these held him back, preventing him from retreating. His blood-red eyes turned the world before him into a sea of blood. Amidst the relentless slaughter and his single-handed stand against the army, a Cloud Sea cultivator behind him slowly stopped in his tracks. He was a young man, at the early glimpse of Nirvana stage, fortunate to have survived the recent brutal battle. He turned around, staring blankly at Wong Lin in the distance, at Wong Lin's back, and at the countless cultivators ahead of him as though two giant arms were holding them back. "We as cultivators are not afraid of a fight," the young man murmured, and the collapsed glory within him seemed to awaken, showing signs of change. Another Cloud Sea cultivator stopped fleeing, silently turning around to stare at Wong Lin's back. Slowly, the fighting spirit in his eyes ignited, turning them red. A madness exploded from deep within. "We, as cultivators, are not afraid of a fight." More Cloud Sea cultivators stopped fleeing and turned to look at Wong Lin. The murmurs echoed in the air, carrying an indescribable scent. This scent had the power to drive any blooded person mad. "We as cultivators are not afraid of a fight. We as cultivators are not afraid of a fight." One after another, Cloud Sea cultivators halted. By the end, all the thousands of them, once fleeing like lost dogs, had stopped. They all looked at Wong Lin, and in their eyes, his previous words echoed once more, clear and loud. Just moments ago, those words had felt so pale and powerless to their ears, unable to stir any emotion or create even a ripple. But now, with his actions, Wong Lin had clearly conveyed the meaning of "we, as cultivators, are not afraid of a fight." Their Cloud Sea glory might have crumbled, but Wong Lin had given them a new kind of glory, a warrior's glory. Fighting for the Sea of Clouds, fighting for their homeland, and fighting for everything they wanted to protect. At that very moment, the colossal heaven-opening axe within the ceiling formation fell once again. As it crashed down, 5,000 Outer Realm cultivators perished in a burst of destruction. At the same moment, Wong Lin suddenly lifted his head, fixating on the heaven-opening axe. In the gaze of the thousands of Cloud Sea cultivators behind him, Wong Lin shot up like an arrow. "Ceiling Venerable, assist me." His roar reverberated through the ceiling formation, reaching the soft light that trapped the Hall Master of the Heavenly Punishment Hall, and within the Jade Pendant. Inside the Jade Pendant, the remnant divine sense of the Ceiling Venerable seemed to unleash the last surge of power in his life. With overwhelming might, it spread, and the soft light blended into the ceiling formation. Following the flow of the formation, the light entered the heaven-opening axe, which had just been swung. As the merged light spread, the enormous axe shook violently. Within it, a great struggle seemed to emanate, fighting against the gentle light. But with the light continuing to flood in, amidst the booming sounds that filled the starry sky, the massive heaven-opening axe froze in midair. Ancient God's aura rapidly expanded from within. "Ceiling formation heaven-opening axe, grant me the power of your successor, just this once." An ancient voice rang out from within the ceiling formation, reaching the ears of every cultivator. Sadness appeared in the eyes of the Southern Cloud Master. How could he forget that voice? The red-robed woman he was fighting with changed expression, a rare glint of fear flashing in her eyes. Memories of years past flooded her mind. The Red Fur Master's expression remained calm, but as the voice echoed, his eyes revealed a hint of reminiscence. It was as though he had returned to that time when he debated with the Ceiling Venerable, a man whose stubbornness he had once scorned. Yet, the Ceiling Venerable had always smiled and shaken his head, never replying. The cold-robed child also heard the voice. Fear appeared in his eyes. The one he feared most in his life was not the Outer Realm Palm Venerable, nor the Immortal Consort, but the Ceiling Venerable. At the moment the ancient voice sounded, the heaven-opening axe stopped struggling. Its size rapidly shrank, eventually becoming no more than a few meters long. But the ancient god's aura on it exploded, intensifying in madness. Wong Lin leaped into the air. Under the gaze of all, he grabbed the heaven-opening axe. It was an ancient artifact, the most powerful weapon of the royal family. This was the heaven-opening axe. The moment Wong Lin grasped the heaven-splitting axe, The ancient god star mark on his forehead spun wildly, emitting an aura that surged forth with a force comparable to the momentum during the Dao Gu inheritance. This power rapidly erupted from Wong Lin's body. Countless millennia had passed since being sealed within the Great Formation, and Wong Lin was the first to hold the heaven-splitting axe as an ancient god. The power of the ancient god was overwhelming, shaking the heavens and earth. As it poured in, Wong Lin's eighth-star vortex immediately expanded, beginning a frenzied absorption. "I, a cultivator, fear not a battle," Wong Lin roared like thunder. As his voice echoed, the thousands of Cloud Sea cultivators behind him went completely wild. "We, as cultivators, fear not a battle." This was not the voice of Wong Lin alone, but the combined cry of the remaining thousands of cultivators, shouting and howling together. At this moment, they forgot death, forgot everything. All that remained was the overwhelming battle spirit. Wong Lin stood in the starry sky, above tens of thousands of people. He turned to look at the thousands of cultivators behind him, whose blood had already been stirred to a boiling point. "Are you willing to die with me?" These words ignited a storm and echoed in the ears of the thousands of cultivators, who let out a thunderous roar in response. This roar reached the ears of the countless Outer Realm cultivators, causing their minds to tremble. They looked at Wong Lin with shock and fear, their eyes filled with dread. It was the same look their ancestors had once cast upon another during the Second Boundary Sealing War, the Sealing Venerable. Wong Lin's gaze was like lightning. He turned to look at the distant Grand Diviner Yun Luo, who was protected by countless cultivators, and a terrifying killing intent exploded in his eyes. What Red Fur Master had been stopped from doing, Wong Lin was now ready to accomplish. Under the excited gazes of the thousands of Cloud Sea cultivators behind him, and amidst the horror of the more than 100,000 Outer Realm invaders ahead, Wong Lin's killing intent surged as he took a step forward. "Kill!" Wong Lin shouted, raising his voice to the sky. The roar shook the heavens and earth, like an ancient god's roar. The sky trembled, and an indescribable aura erupted from Wong Lin's body, blending into his roar. At that moment, all the Outer Realm cultivators in front of him changed their expressions and retreated. A shock to their very souls stirred an endless fear within them. It was as though Wong Lin, holding the heaven-splitting axe, was an invincible existence. His battle intent was so powerful that all those who stood before him would be crushed by it. With Wong Lin were the thousands of cultivators, who now moved as one. The thousands of Cloud Sea cultivators charged forward, ready to die. The Cloud Sea cultivators could die in battle, but they could never flee. This was their resolve, their will, and their honor, the honor of dying in battle. This honor was meant to spread across the entire realm, reaching deep into the hearts of every cultivator, igniting the flames of battle. Only then, in the face of such a vast disparity in power between the two sides, would there be a glimmer of victory. This war, which would last for countless years, was just beginning. If the realm were to lose, it would require the determination that no cultivator would remain after the battle. This was the death battle. The cold mountain stood far away, the beacon fires burning for seasons. The border perished, and no one would remember the bones buried there. Wong Lin charged out, diving into the Outer Realm invaders like a sharp sword. He did not swing his heaven-splitting axe, but held it aloft. Just the sheer killing intent emanating from him caused everyone in front to dare not block his path. Grand Diviner Yun Luo's face changed urgently as she stared at Wong Lin approaching from afar. She raised her jade hand and pointed forward. With the power of the seal of fate, the retreating Outer Realm cultivators snarled and charged forward, their ferocity only masking the fear in their hearts. Wong Lin's eyes were blood-red as he pressed forward, surrounded by a violent wind. No one could stop him, and no one dared to. "Kill!" The cultivators who charged forward immediately scattered as soon as they met Wong Lin's advance. Their fear outweighed their vicious expressions. Red Fur Master and Southern Cloud Master both appeared, blocking any third-step great powers from retreating. But the Cold Robe Child, who had fought Red Fur Master before, was of a deep cultivation level. Furthermore, Red Fur Master had been ambushed by the Immortal Consort, and now injured, he was unable to hold back all the opponents. The Fire Sparrow clan ancestor was the first to charge out from the battle with red firm master, exuding killing intent. Black flames surrounded his body as he sped toward Wong Lin. As he moved, the Fire Sparrow mark on his forehead flickered, erupting with a powerful roar. It transformed into a massive black firebird, engulfing the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor within it. On this firebird, the power of devotional power spread, and with an overwhelming momentum, the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor cut through layers of cultivators, heading straight for Wong Lin. "Little bastard, what use is that heaven-splitting axe? Watch as I kill you." The speed was so fast that in the blink of an eye, it was already less than 1,000 zhang away from Wong Lin. From a distance, the black firebird burned with intense flames, waves of heat rushing toward them. It was getting closer and closer to Wong Lin. Wong Lin was already in a bloodthirsty rage. As he rushed forward, his gaze was fixed on the approaching Fire Sparrow ancestor, and without a word, he gripped the heaven-opening axe tightly and raised it. As the star point on his forehead spun rapidly, a wave of ancient god power surged through his body. With that, he lifted the massive heaven-opening axe and swung it down towards the incoming Fire Sparrow ancestor. "Those who block me die," Wong Lin roared with an earth-shattering growl. His body leaped into the air, and with the rumble of the heaven-opening axe, a giant axe shadow manifested in front of him. The size of this axe shadow was nearly as large as the seal formation spirit from before. It roared forward, directly slashing down at the black firebird. This strike was earth-shattering, drawing the attention of many. Even those powerful beings from the outer realm who were fighting against Red Firm Master and Southern Cloud Master turned their gazes toward it. Not to mention the large group of outer realm invader cultivators charging into the inner realm. In their fear, they all looked on with eager anticipation. They hoped that the Fire Sparrow ancestor would kill Wong Lin, letting him die before their eyes, in their presence. Only in this way could the fear that had spread within the hearts of these outer realm cultivators be dispelled. The 3,000 Cloud Sea cultivators charging in from behind Wong Lin also locked their gazes forward. Their expressions were filled with excitement. They feared no death, but if Wong Lin were to be stopped by the Fire Sparrow ancestor, even if they ended up fighting each other, it would have a serious impact on the morale of these Cloud Sea cultivators, who had just ignited their fighting spirit. A surge of pressure continued to block their way. Wong Lin's killing intent spread. As he swung the massive axe, the huge axe shadow struck the black firebird in an instant. The firebird's flames surged wildly, expanding outward to try and block the heaven-opening axe. But this axe was named Heaven Opening. With a deafening roar, the expanding flames collapsed immediately. There was no resistance as the huge axe shadow pierced through, falling directly onto the firebird's body. The sound of explosions reverberated, shaking the starry sky. Everyone watched in awe as the next scene unfolded before their eyes. It was a scene that would be etched into their memories forever. The pride of the Cloud Sea cultivators, the eternal nightmare for the outer realm invader cultivators. The massive axe shadow showed no sign of stopping. With the deafening rumble, it slashed into the black firebird's body. A bone-chilling scream echoed into the hearts and minds of all the cultivators, coming from the firebird. The body of the black firebird was split in two by the heaven-opening axe, revealing the pale, horrified face of the Fire Sparrow ancestor. He watched helplessly as the axe, with an unstoppable force, descended upon him, striking his forehead. With a thunderous crash, a destructive force surged into the Fire Sparrow ancestor's forehead. Blood instantly poured out, and a blood-colored thread emerged. The thread rapidly expanded, splitting apart, tearing through flesh, severing his clan's mark, and revealing the skull beneath. The skull shattered instantly, a crack appearing that quickly split apart, exposing his white brain. The heaven-opening axe flashed and pierced into the split skull, penetrating the Fire Sparrow ancestor's brain as if striking tofu. The axe not only split the skull, but also fell violently, splitting the Fire Sparrow ancestor's entire head in half. With the sound of cracking, the heaven-opening axe pierced through the Fire Sparrow ancestor's neck and chest, exploding blood and tearing him apart completely. His primordial spirit could not escape. As his body split in two, it was instantly destroyed, vanishing into the starry sky. All of this happened in the blink of an eye. Instant kill. Instantly killing a third-step great power. After the axe struck, the starry sky fell silent. The Outer Realm invader cultivators stood frozen, staring blankly at the fire sparrow ancestor's shattered body, split in two. They were utterly stunned. They couldn't believe it. They refused to believe it. At this moment, Wong Lin was unstoppable. He passed through the shattered body of the fire sparrow ancestor, filled with killing intent. His crimson eyes locked onto the pale, terrified face of Grand Diviner Yun, and he charged toward him with madness. All the Outer Realm cultivators in front of him seemed to just then realize what was happening. With horrified screams, all the cultivators in front of Wong Lin quickly retreated. Even the closest cultivators to Yun subconsciously backed away, their faces pale. In their eyes, Wong Lin was like a celestial demon who had walked out from the Yellow Springs, carrying the murderous aura of heaven and earth, bent on destroying all living things. Even the Grand Diviner Yun was stepping back repeatedly. The fear in her eyes was far more intense than anyone else's. She gazed toward Wong Lin, who was 1,000 feet away, and a terrifying image that she had once foreseen appeared in her mind. In that vision, the figure of someone she feared seemed to be walking toward her. Glory of the Seal Lord! Glory of the Seal Lord! The excited roars echoed from the mouths of the thousands of cultivators, growing louder and more passionate. Eventually, it merged into one unified voice, reverberating through the starry sky like an eternal sound. Seal Lord, glory!